In recent months, right to repair has become more and more mainstream. So much so, in fact, that Apple feels left out of the party. So they just announced that they're going to create a new program to allow their consumers to buy parts and manuals for their Apple products directly from the source. Apple, allowing them to repair those devices themselves. But why are they doing this? Is it really as great as it seems, or is it just a PR stunt? And what's Apple's history with repairability that has made everyone so skeptical of this move to begin with? The answers to all these questions and more here at Techonomics. Hey, it's Carlos, always trying to provide you with an insight on technology and how it's affecting you and the world at large. Apple possibly allowing for more repairability is extremely important because of how the entire tech industry tends to follow their lead for both good and bad. So understanding where things stand will really give us some insight as to where all of tech is heading. And to understand that, we need to get some context. So what's right to repair anyway? Well, Laura Brenner from Reinhardt Law has a great definition saying, right to repair represents the concept that consumers should be able to fix their products themselves or through independent service providers of their choice rather than being required to go back to the manufacturer or its selected provider for all repairs. So how is this relevant to Apple's proposed program? Well, the reality is that Apple has a long history of being against the repairability of their own products. For years, if not decades, we have continued to see their devices become harder and harder to repair, apparently on purpose. Case in point, this recent news story stating that Apple has made it so that if you replace the screen from an iPhone 13 using a third-party repair shop, Face ID won't work anymore. And this isn't an issue of bad parts. You can replace the screen with one off of an iPhone 13 and it still won't work. With that said, there's a workaround by replacing a chip on the screen, meaning that this change doesn't make the device any more secure. It doesn't improve the experience to the end user. All it does is make repairability more cost inhibitive for independent repair shops, making Apple the only option you have for fixing your devices. Fortunately, there was so much backlash that Apple has reversed course and is going to push an update disabling the restriction, but it's clear what they were intending. And that's just a recent story. Apple has been preventing repairability for years. Probably the most notable and effective way that they do it is through contracts with their suppliers. Whenever they're building a new product, Apple makes sure to avoid using off-the-shelf parts. Instead, they make the supplier implement small little tweaks to the parts so that the original off-the-shelf one is no longer compatible. Then they sign an exclusivity contract with the supplier so that Apple is the only one who the supplier is legally allowed to sell the part to. Now multiply that several times over for almost every single part on virtually every Apple product, and it becomes clear why it's so difficult and expensive for independent repair shops to repair Apple stuff. The exclusivity contract makes it impossible to get the part directly from the supplier, and working around them to get the part increases the price significantly, and that extra cost is passed down to the consumer in need of the repair. Oftentimes, the repair is so expensive because of this that it's no longer economically viable, which is exactly what Apple wants and why they've been doing this for so long. So now that the importance of repairability is clear and Apple's dark history on the matter is well understood, what's so different about Apple's latest move, and can we really trust that it will make things better? What is Apple's self-service repair? It is Apple's new program to provide customers with the tools, manuals, and parts necessary to repair their own products. The idea being, if you need to repair your device, you can go online to their site, purchase the parts that you need, and they will provide you with the manuals and tools needed to replace the old part with the new one. Then, once you finish the repair, you can send them the old damaged part for store credit. And let's be honest, that sounds awesome. In a nutshell, this is exactly what people have been wanting with the whole right to repair movement. So, isn't this perfect? Well, no. When the program starts, the only parts available will be batteries, screens, and camera modules, making the entire rest of the device, which is most of it, not repairable using this program. And given the broken promises and dirty tactics that Apple has used in the past, there isn't a lot of faith that this time is going to be any different. It's for that very reason that people are so skeptical that there's ever going to be any other parts available. Where's the incentive for Apple to do things right? There is none. On the other hand, just like their partner repair program from 2 years ago, they have every incentive to turn this into a giant PR stunt. Instead of actually providing the parts that people need, they can provide the simple parts and avoid providing the more complicated and difficult to get ones. But by doing so, they can go to governments around the world and pretend like they're being altruistic, when they're really just trying to get these same governments off their back. And most importantly, they're trying to use this as a means by which to convince those same governments that any sort of right to repair legislation is completely unnecessary. This is nothing new for them. They've already done a program that's supposedly aimed at making repairability easier, only to put massive restrictions on the repair companies and pressure governments to let them off the hook. So with this in mind, what is the future of right to repair? It's really easy to be skeptical and defeatist when it comes to the state of right to repair. And don't get me wrong, I'm plenty skeptical, but there's many things to be happy about. The fact that Apple is doing this move in the first place means that they feel pressure. They wouldn't be doing it if they didn't have to. And it's not just them. If Apple is changing their tune, I'm sure we can look forward to many other tech companies allowing for repairability in the future as well. Microsoft has already announced that they will be making an effort to allow more repairability themselves. Suffice to say that while right to repair hasn't been implemented, it has a level of momentum behind it that we haven't seen before. Most importantly, people are now aware of right to repair, which didn't used to be the case. That alone is a major success. And yes, I'm skeptical and it is very unclear what the future of Apple's repair program will bring, but we are in the middle of making right to repair a reality. It's not going to be easy and it's not going to be done tomorrow, but if we keep up the pressure, it will happen. So let's keep our heads up high and keep pushing and advocating for what we know is right. That's the only way that we can make the future that we want to see. Hey guys, thanks for watching another video. As always, please hit that like button. It's very much appreciated. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Louis Rossmann, who has been at the forefront of this movement and has educated me and so many others on the subject. Please comment down below with what you think of Apple's new repair program. Are you optimistic about it, or is it just another PR stunt? Really looking forward to you guys' thoughts. As always, it's Carlos from Techonomics. Over and out.